All right, good morning, everyone. Now, this is about assignment 9, which is due by Wednesday. We worked on the first question here last time, so you should have that recorded on the previous lecture. However, we're going to spend time to work on these 3 questions, and we will be using Excel. So please, when you submit your assignment, submit it as an Excel sheet. Before we go ahead and start with these, what we do, we would like to go over the techniques that we've learned, the estimating techniques, and uh, these techniques are important to figure out the status of the project and what's the action you need to take in order to adjust the budget. So we figure out the first on Monday, the first lecture for this chapter, we talk about these 4 uh, key performance index, which will help you to identify the status of the project, whether in terms of budget and in terms of schedule. These both on the left side, these are should be 1 or more. The second one here on the right side, the variance should be positive. So it should be a positive to be on to what does positive mean? That you're doing great. Your project behind budget, under budget, and on the schedule. These indexes will also give you an indication whether the project is on budget, under budget, over budget, and that's for the CPI. The SPI will tell you about whether the project on schedule, behind schedule, or ahead of schedule. So now from here, this is on Monday, we discussed this on Monday, we were able to find out what's the status of the project. And on Wednesday, what we did, we talked about the forecasting techniques, some forecasting techniques that will help us to make some corrections in case of the project behind schedule, what we should do. If the project is over budget, what action should be taken? And we've learned about mainly 2 or 3, we will be talking about 3 techniques. These are the estimate at completion, estimate to complete, and complete performance index. We're going to focus on the first 2, but the third one is also used. I'm not going to focus that much on it. So the first one, the estimate at completion, and I'm going to go ahead and jump to the example that I provided because that will give you an idea on what's the difference between estimate at completion and estimate to complete. They're very similar in wordings, but they're giving you a different meaning to manage your project. The first one, estimate at completion, is how much you will spend at the end of the project. So this is, again, how much you will spend by the end of the project. Estimate to complete is how much more you will spend from this point forward. For example, here, for this project, in this example, we have this project. Initially, we have a budget of 1,500. However, we found out, no, this is not true. We need 1,800 to finish this project. Estimate to complete would be 900. So we already know that 1,800 is the budget, the new budget, and we already spent $900. So the rest would be 900, which how much we will spend from this point forward. And we did talk about the way of if we have a mistake with the budgeting, and this is going to happen again, we have to adjust the budget by using the CPI, dividing the initial budget, which is the BAC, the 1,500, divided by the CPI, which is 0.67. 0.67 again means that we are over budget. We exceeded the budget. And that will come up with a new number, which is 2,239 as the new estimate to complete the whole project. And the ETC, from now on, we will be spending, after we spent already 900, we will be spending 1,339. Okay, so with that, just a reminder for everyone and for myself as well, we will go ahead and work on these examples. So there are 4 cases that we're working on. The first one is the most common one, is the bottom up. This is the most common. In this case, what you need to uh, you found your cost was wrong, and you must calculate the new estimate. So what we need to do, we have to find what would be the actual cost plus the estimate to complete. Similar to the example, what we did here, we found that that's the budget here, and what would be the uh, estimate to complete. The second case in here would be one-time incident. When we have a one-time incident, and in this case, what we need to do, we need to add the actual cost plus the budget at completion minus the earned value. Case number 3 would be the estimate at completion would be calculated by the budget at completion, which is the initial budget, BAC, divided by the CPI, which is the cost performance index, similar to what we did for this case right here, to find out what would be the new budget. And the fourth case would be that you are over budget and behind the schedule, but there's the client would insist that you have to finish it on time. So in this case, the estimate at completion would be the actual cost plus the budget cost to complete at completion minus the earned value divided by the CPI times the SPI. In this case, we consider the cost index and the schedule index in consideration. All right, now let's go ahead and work on the second example right here, second question. And in the second question, I want you to open an Excel sheet. Again, I did put this PowerPoint on the D2L, so please go ahead and download that and copy the question on Excel and bring it to here. So I did that for you while you're here. So we could see the question here in front of us while we work together on this question. And what I did, I went to the slides, I put some equations that we're going to use here in order to help us calculate the needed. So you have a project with a budget of $500,000, an incident during the execution phase that cost you a lot of money. So there's only one incident happen that cost you a lot of money. However, you are sure that this will not happen again. So this one-time incident is not going to happen again, and that you continue with your calculated performance for the rest of the project. To date, you have spent $200,000, and the value of the completion work is $175,000. Calculate the estimate at completion. And I did put some answers here for you to help you calculate to help you monitor your answer and make sure that you check your answer with these correct answers. So what I want you to do on the left side, I created a column, 2 columns. One is for information given in the question. So we have the budget to be 500,000, and I did put budget 500,000. You have spent to date 200,000. The actual value for the work you completed is 175, and this is what we're trying to find, the EAC, the estimate at completion. So first of all, it would be really nice to have the equations. So the equations is right here. The EAC would be the actual cost plus the BAC minus the earned value. But now this is not what in the question. So now what I want from you is to translate this into the equation language, which says, instead of saying budget, in the language they call it in the equation language they call it BAC. That's the BAC. And the terms I did provide it for you at the beginning of the slides. The BAC, that would be the budget at completion, and I'm looking into the slides here just to share with you where I'm looking. It's BAC, it would be the budget or budget at completion. All right, now back here. So instead of saying budget, give it a abbreviation, BAC. And they said up to date, it's to, they have spend up to date 200,000, and that would be what? That would be the actual cost. And for here, completed work, that would be the earned value. That's the actual, like the value of the completed work, not the actual cost. The actual cost is 200, but earned value is 175. Now let's apply this equation here. The equation for this one would be the actual cost, so equal, this is the actual cost, plus the BAC, the budget, minus the earned value, 175, and that will give you 525,000 is the AEC. If the question asks you for finding the ETC, would be EAC, which is the one that we found here, minus the actual cost. What is the ETC? Okay, this is, let's highlight this one. This is the EAC, the estimate at completion. So highlight this in yellow, give it a nice border here. Now, if I ask you to do the estimate to complete, how much we have to spend from now on, from this point on, how much we have to spend is the 525 minus the actual time, the actual work, the actual money that you spend. So from now on, you will be spending 325. But again, this is not required in the question, but it would be nice to add it to your answer. All right, I'm going to stop here and see if you guys have a question or comment. All right. Let's go and work on question number 3. And feel free to unmute yourself and talk to me if you have any concern. Right, so now we're going to the second, the third question on the assignment. We'll go ahead and read it. You have a fixed deadline for a project with a budget cost 500,000. To date, you have spent $200,000. And the value of completed work is 175. However, according to the schedule, you should have earned 225,000 by now. Calculate the estimate at completion. And of course, I give you the answers here just to compare it. All right, let's take a look. This is a fixed deadline. So this is, will tell you that this is in case 4. So estimate at completion would be this equation. And why? What's the difference between this equation and the one before? And because we're having a fixed deadline, we have to consider the schedule index and the cost index at the same time. Let's take a look into that. So put down these information. So I'm going to we'll start with a 500 here. Okay, that 500 would be, I'm going to call it budget for now. And then we have spent 200. And that would be, I'm going to call it to date. And we'll go back to the terminologies and put them. And then the value of completed work is 175. This is very much similar to what we have on the other one. So that would be value of completed work. And now we're going to last one. You should have earned a 225 by now. So 225 by now. So I'm going to copy the style here. All right. And this is you should have earned. Okay. So now we'll starting with the budget, that would be the BAC. That would be the BAC. 200 is the actual cost. Value of worked, of completed work is 175. That would be the what? That would be the earned value. And you should have earned 225. And that would be, what would be this one? 200, you should have earned. So, but this is for sure the earned value, but they're saying you're supposed to be at this point here.
Is that your cost variance?
Cost variance, well, could be. All right, let's take a look into the terminologies. Okay, so that would be, I think, that would be the planned value. That would be the PV. The 200, the 225, they're saying based on the plan, you should be at 225. So that would be the PV, the planned value. I'm not sure if we're going to use it in the equation or not, but we're gonna leave it here. So that would be the PV, the planned value. The planned value. I'm going to delete this. All right. So now we'll go ahead and apply this equation. Again, that's from case 4. We should consider the equation that has the costs index and the schedule index. And okay, so let's go ahead and start what we need. We have the actual cost, we have the BAC, we have the earned value. Now we have to work on finding the CPI and SPI. These are the two things are missing from the equation. So go ahead and work on a CPI and SPI. And these can be calculated by earned value, the first one, earned value. Both of them will start with the earned value. And one is, you want to divide it by earned value divided by actual cost. And this one, earned value divided by planned value, the PV. And again, these equations are available on the slides. All right, so go ahead and calculate the CPI. The CPI is earned value 175 divided by the actual cost 200. As you see, this is over budget. This is over budget. And now SPI, that would be the earned value 175 divided by the planned value, which is 225. And that's giving you a number less than 1, which means behind schedule. However, we have to consider that the fixed deadline, and we have to finish it within the fixed line. So we have to go and see how much we have to spend, actually, estimate at completion. That would be actual cost, 200,000 plus open parentheses, BAC, the 500 minus the earned value, close the parentheses, divide, and we have to have another parentheses here, up here, so we'll make sure that we have to give priority for the division before we do the addition or subtractions. So you have to be really careful on how to use the parentheses. The CPI, now open parentheses, CPI times the SPI, close the parentheses for this one, and there's one more parenthesis that you need to close, and that should give you the 677.551. All right, so the answer is 671,000. And again, because we're using Excel, this is one of the good problems of Excel, is giving you a more accurate answer than more than what you need. So if you apply the equation by itself, you're gonna get not as accurate as we have. So we have 671,000 versus 677,000. which is close enough. But again, the reason for that, because we're using Excel, and Excel will give you a more accurate number for that. So for example, the CPI, I have it here as 0.875 and here is 88. So it's rounded. And the same thing for SPI, we have 0.77. It's rounded to 0.78, but the rest would be the same. All right, now the last thing that I want to do is highlight your answer, give it a nice look, and that's basically it. Next, we're going to work on the problem 4. Question number 4. Can anyone read it for me? If you can.
Yeah, I can do that.
All right, I appreciate it.
All right. You have a project to construct a government department building for $500,000. To date, you have spent $200,000, and the value of completed work is $175,000. However, you notice the cost estimation was flawed. Therefore, you need to calculate your budget again for the remainder of the project. You gather your team members and estimated the cost of the remaining work. Your new estimate shows you would take $400,000 to complete the remainder of the project. Calculate the estimate at completion and the answers.
Excellent, thank you. All right, I appreciate it. So we have very much same numbers from before. So I'm gonna copy this here, except the planned value. We don't have it for that one. But that's a really nice example to look into the different cases. So we have a budget 500, actual cost is 200,000, and the earned value 175. So that would be the same. Again, this is what we need to do. We need to apply case 1, and we need to find the EAC estimate at completion. And now we're going to apply this equation taken from the slides. Estimate at completion would be the actual cost plus the bottom up estimate to complete. All right, so but what is the bottom up estimate to complete? We don't have that yet, so we have to work on this one in particular. And that would be considering the bottom up, so we need to put it here. We have to find this one right here. So oh, okay, we're missing one number here, which is the 400,000. You have a new estimate. All right, now that makes sense. Okay, that would be the new estimate. All right, so now exactly the same as the one before. So the budget is 500, the actual cost 200, the value of completed work is 175. We have from the question saying, okay, after we gathered the team member, re-estimated the work, we found the new estimate to be $400,000. So that would be the bottom up estimate. So that would be the bottom up estimate to complete. And now, so I'm going to copy this, put it here. And this is again given to you, but you could calculate it actually. You could calculate it if you need to by finding the CPI. Find the CPI and divide the budget by the CPI. That should give you the new estimate. But in this case, they did not use that technique. Did not use this technique. They worked with the team members and they re-estimated the whole work. And they said, okay, well, it's 400 now. The work will take 400. So now for estimate at completion would be actual cost that you've already spent plus the new estimate, which will give you $600,000. Again, what I'm saying here, you could find the new estimate if this piece is not given to you here. We don't know what's the new estimate. You could find the CPI. You should find, just again, this is not related. I'm done with the answer here. I'm going to highlight it, and that's the answer. But in case if this 400,000 is not given, what you need to do, you need to find the CPI and find the new estimate. And the CPI would be the earned value divided by the actual cost. Okay, earned value divided by the actual cost. So the earned value would be the 175 divided by the actual cost. That would be the CPI. Now the new budget, and again, this is not related to what I'm doing, but I'm saying if this piece is missing from the question, we could go ahead and calculate the new budget. So if it's a new budget, and we might get the 400, we'll see now. In order to find the new budget, we will be using, which equation? I'll bring it from the slides here in just a second. We will use, this equation here. EAC would be the BAC divided by the CPI. So that would be, it's called EAC, would be the BAC divided by the 0.87. That will give you a 571,000. So again, this is not related to the question. I'm saying, just make sure you have your own notes. Don't say, oh no, you answered this way. Oh no, yes, I answered this way because I said this is assuming that this is not given. The new estimate is not given. And I want to find what would be the EAC in this case. What you need to do, find the CPI, that would be the cost index, and divide the budget by the CPI to find out what would be the new estimate. All right, well, with that said, I think I am done not for today, unless you have, you guys have a question for me. Any question, comment?
Yeah, I do. So when you do so for this example on this question,
Yeah.
that 571, 428, and 57 cents, that's just the more accurate number than the 600,000 that the team decided. That's based off of past expenditures, right?
Well, I think this is more accurate. This is more accurate. So what they did here, and for this one, they went to the work package and re-estimate everything. However, this one is close to the number. If you look, this is closer to this one, but this is the one here because they gathered the team and they reworked the numbers and they figure out that the budget will be 400. But here it's based on what we have so far done. So this one is estimate based on what we have done, basically based on the earned value, based on the performance of your team, and assuming that you're gonna do the same performance for the rest of the project. In this case would be 571. But this one, again, this is more accurate because they sit together and said, okay, well, we did wrong the first time, let's do it right this time. And they went in details and they put down all the information they need. However, this could be overestimated. This could be overestimated because they don't want to be on that position again of having a project and they have a budget that did not meet their needs. So we'll say, okay, let's say just in case add this, and just in case let's add this. So it depends on the team themselves. So if they overestimated, that could explain why it's 600 more than the 500 here. They maybe overestimated. They're afraid of falling behind, and they said, okay, let's add a little bit money here. However, based on their performance, the previous performance, it's saying that's the budget you need. And this is a good discussion actually with your team as a manager. Say, okay, your team will be coming to you back and say, okay, well, we're sorry, we did not estimate the project as we're supposed to do. Now the new estimate, instead of 500,000, we need 600,000 for this project. And because you took the class with me, said, well, wait a minute, just a second. Well, let's do the calculation, and you do this one. So you say, okay, well, based on your performance so far, I think, yes, initially you underestimated the budget. You did come up with a 500, but actually what you need now, and I hear you need 571, not the $600,000. So as a manager, a top management, they would use it to negotiate with the team members on how much new budget should be. So they should say, okay, well, you asked for 600, but actually based on your performance, this is what you should get, the 571,000. And then they might ask for, more detailed why you're asking for 600. So there's no one right or wrong, or which one is more accurate. I think if the team did it the right way and they put a reasonable price, the 600 would be more accurate. However, this one here, reflection of their previous performance, which usually will be also accurate, but you never know what's situation, why they're behind. So as you see, the earned value is 175, but they spent 200. So not sure exactly what happened. So it is, this judgment should be based on a case by case, and you need to exactly know what you want. But these tools are amazing to have a starting point with your team, saying, okay, go back and re-estimate the work that you need. They will come back to with a budget for you, saying, okay, here's the new estimate. But because you're smart and you took this class with me, say, okay, well, no, you don't need that 600. Maybe you did overestimated some of the items. Actually, what you need to do 571. So this is where the negotiation will start, saying, okay, well, how about you go give us 590, and maybe both parties will accept that offer. But I hope this explains the question, Tony.
They're just adding contingencies.
Could be, yeah, could be. Which I guess if anyone on their situation now, they're working on a budget and they started with a 500,000 and they found out they're behind and they're over budget, and they will say, well, maybe we did something wrong. So that's where they started considering the contingency and, just in case scenarios. That could be the reason. But again, this is also a valid measure. So this is accurate and this is accurate, but they're taking different perspective. One is taken by re-estimating package by package, activity by activity. And this one is taken from upper management perspective where, okay, show me what your performance is. Your performance is right here. This is the earned value. This is what's the actual cost. I know your performance is 87.5%, and therefore will give you the more money based on your performance. And again, both of them are accurate. One is speaking from the team member perspective, and the other one is speaking from the top management perspective. I hope this is answer your question, but I'm willing to work with you more if you still have more questions on this. Any question from Aaron or Sam?
Nope, I like the session today.
Excellent.
No.
Excellent. Yeah, that's the whole idea, is not just to go, there are a lot of terminologies and concepts, but these cases, these examples will help you better understand the topic. And that's the hope. Okay, what I need from you now, I need you to go ahead and work on Excel before you forget about it. Finish your assignment and submit it if you can as soon as possible. And with that said, I'd like you to enjoy your weekend. Happy holiday, happy Easter for these of you who celebrate, and enjoy your Good Friday.